Hey, let's get started because after that I'm planning to run also a Q&A session, not only for this but also for anything that you want to be doing, right? So like anything that you have. It's been a while since I've been running a Q&A, and I do realize that some of you have check-ins that might be a week away, and I want to make sure that we are here. By the way, I see Dory here. We always can. We're always here for you, right? If you need help, support, you can always text us. If less you again, if you, not that you have to, but it's much more fun for me to talk to faces than names. If you are not naked or doing anything weird, like you can turn on the camera. If you are naked, totally fine. You don't turn it on. I mean, not that I have a problem with, but probably it's a little bit not PG for Facebook for us as well. Anyway, welcome. Jokes aside, I hope you liked the live. If you didn't see the live about the exercise, go back and watch it. I just went live into the perfect way to structure a workout, more so the component of the workout. I think was very valuable especially for people I see here, Marcela, Cecilia. I'm thinking about Claudia as well, and Dory, of course. Everybody can get some really good value extraction from that video because talks about, not only how to progress a workout. It's like when I teach you how to fish, you no longer need to take somebody fish for you, right? Like you learn, right? This is why I can make and personalize your workouts inside our app, but it's more useful when you learn how to do it yourself as well, not just for contextual purposes. Welcome to manifesting. I use that title because I know that it's a buzzword that, when there is this website, it's called Buzz Sumo or something like Buzz News, whatever. You see about manifesting all the time. They made TV shows about it, like how to manifest. How do you get basically things to happen to you, right? And today I'm gonna show you, in my opinion, my view about it. And of course, I wish I could take credit for it. I can't, like this is, I listened to a podcast as I was walking the other day. I do follow a lot of people. A very good person to follow, doctor, is called Jay Tida. And this is kind of like his view about manifesting. And I said, oh, why don't I just take part of it? And then, and of course, I like to always, take stuff that I go do, for example, from my business mentors and stuff. And how can we put a frame together to actually show what I need, right? What I mean, right? So as we always like to do most of the time, we like to start by me showing you a few things. And one thing I wanted to show you today, it was a video, and of course I've been referencing this hundreds of times. Obviously, the success cycle for Tony Robbins, and whenever somebody have some sort of a belief shift issue, meaning like they cannot believe that they can do something, I always like to show this video. And obviously, I know we touched this probably in another call before. And this is kind of like I'd like you to listen because it's like you can explain it better.
Work in a circle. The potential's amazing, but if you don't believe something's going to work, if you've tried to lose weight before and you try to diet, it didn't work out well, you don't feel certain anymore, and you're also fearful of failing. So when you're uncertain, do you tap full potential? Yes or no? No. And when you don't think it's going to work, you not only don't take full potential, but are you going to take massive action when you think it's not going to work anyway? So when you use little potential with little action, what kind of results are you going to get? Lousy results. When you get lousy results, what does it do to your belief? Your brain goes, see, I told you it wouldn't work. See, I told you nothing never happened. See? And then what happens? Less potentials tap, less action, worse results, and now you're on the downward spiral. Who's ever been there in a relationship or with your body, your finances, you know what I mean? Now, you might be doing well in one area, like with your kids, you get great movement, but maybe on your finances, not so good. So sometimes we're going in different directions. So how would you change this? What would you guys do? Someone yell it out. What would you do to change the momentum? Where would you enter? Would you work on your potential? That's right. You got to believe. So how do you change?
Yep. So this is why the guy's worth $65 million, right? It puts S on seats. But in my opinion, it's like it's showing in a very easy way the success cycle, right? It's like if you really believe you can do something and you just take massive action into something, then you validate your hypothesis. Crazy enough, you can use this thing for every single stuff. The relationship. We're going to talk about four main areas of life today, which I believe to be relationship, family, health, and then fulfillment, which is by many people not really looked into, and yet is very important as well. So I wanted to show you the success cycle because I use this pretty much on a daily basis when I try to enroll people inside a program, because the amount of people that have very little belief in something, them succeeding into life, or them feeling less beautiful as they are, or them less attractive as they are, or more or less potential in their career, that is crazy, right? And we use this because it's like, the reality is, if you're not going to change your own worldview, like, you need somebody else to help you change it. Yeah, this is very important. There was a saying, or how do you say, like a idiom, whether you believe you can do something, or whether you believe you can't, or whether you believe something is going to happen for you, or whether you believe it's not going to happen, you are right. If you think on a second, maybe you get what the point. It's like, whether you believe something is going to work or you don't, it's true. Like, it's definitely going to happen, because it's like you coming up with a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. It's something you believe very, in your own heart, that is going to happen, right? And our job today is to actually see, can we actually change that, right? And to go to the core of whether we can change that or not, you really need to understand how really things work, how things works in general. Yeah. In your own adulthood, when you're an adult, like, obviously there is stages of life, like when I study, not only physiology, but also, how do you say, that study is called, damn, it was in school, like when you study population, and you can help me, you can type it in the chat if you, by the way, get used to typing in the chat today, because like it's going to be a lot of typing. And what the hell happened to the chat here? Like, they keep putting on Zoom, they keep putting new, how do you say, updates. And is this the chat now? Like, do you guys see the chat? Can somebody type in the chat? Because I cannot. Oh, let me see if this, hello. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We found the chat. So now it's going to show up to you. Don't close that tab, because they keep putting new stuff, and then it's always less functional. Okay, going back to, in the adulthood, like when the study is like when you study population, basically, which I don't remember what the topic is called, but basically people just study population for a living, right? I don't think it's called that. It's more so like, physiology is the study of the human motion. Anatomy is the study of the muscle. And then there is anthropomy or whatever, something's like, whenever you study that, you basically study, the kids, and then you study the adults, and then you study the aging, whatever, right? When you get to the adults, which is like, I would say between 30-ish and up, then you kind of like find yourself feeling as if like life is passing by. But whether like you have, and whatever shows up into your bank account, for instance, whatever shows up into your relationship, whether you are in a marriage, or whether you're not happy into your relationship, or whether you are in a place that you don't want to be, maybe in a toxic one, or whether you are like in your health, whether you're healthy, whether you're super proud of your body, whether you have a body image issue, and the potential one is very huge. I always say there is 2 times more important in your life. Number 1, when you're born. Number 2, when you find your purpose. This is hugely underlooked by anybody. People are in jobs that they hate. People are doing stuff that they don't appreciate. What I'm doing here today, I don't like it, fortunately enough for me, it's my job, but it's not really a job. It's something I enjoy doing, right? Demographic, that's probably a good way to actually put it. Thank you for that, Marcela. So the study said that biggest problem of depression of people is like not being congruent with whatever they find them to be their reality is, meaning like I am divorced, I have a bad relationship, I have not a good relationship with friend, with my family, my bank account sucks. Whatever the discrepancy is between what they should have or what they feel they should based on their work ethics or discipline or work, and the reality is the gap of creating problems with psychology, meaning depressions and shit like that. And it's a gap, it's a breach. Some people, and you do need to realize today that you close this breach with skills. There is only one way to close a breach: skills, getting better, working hard, practicing the skills to close the gap. People fill that gap with random stuff like Netflix, with scrolling social media, with doing nothing, like with reading books. People feel like I'm reading a book and now I'm getting more smart. People like to think that, or watching a podcast or watching webinars. More consumption of the information is done today than 20 years combined together before the internet. So when you do this kind of stuff, you ain't getting more smart. Like, you're getting the information in, but only when you practice is when you change something. Something happens later. Not something good necessarily, but at least you practice. The gap is actually crazy. It's like, this is the gap between reality and what you perceive to be the bigger this gap is, the bigger work you have to fill with skills in order for you to actually manifest something into your life. For the money falling kind of from the sky. Unless you're not going to win the lottery, that's not going to happen. Like, you just need to do something for it. Yeah. Now, today we're going to go into why it's important to actually do stuff within your own mind to get this thing to happen. But referring back to this again, like last time I show you my greatest of all time, my opinion, that Dan Pena, he refers this all the time from a Gallup poll. Like, Gallup is something in I think in UK or something, like 87% of people are unhappy. Why they're unhappy? Because they don't perceive they have what they deserve. But again, it's what you earn, not what you deserve. Like, you don't get what the best thing happened to you if you do no work, right? The crazy part is that study put people from the whole world inside, meaning like from Africa, from stuff places like Nigeria, places, of course, that you would say, yeah, they are a little bit more unlucky than the Western world, where we are in US or in Australia or wherever you are in Europe, wherever you are, right? And of course, you see how, like, what less opportunity somebody get born from a country like that. And you know what I'm getting at this point, right? Here, nowadays, and I said the other day on yesterday, I think on my video, I said, there is everything today. We have all the information, we have coaching, we have whatever. What have you done with your opportunity? If you're watching the replay, when I say, for example, come to the mindset call, it's free for everybody. Almost like feel I have to pay you to come to the call. And it's like, what are you doing with your opportunity? When I'm teaching you not only about fitness, but I'm telling you about how you're going to make more money, how you're going to make more friends, how you're going to improve your mindset, how you're going to improve. What are you doing with the opportunity? Because 87% people are not where they perceive they need to be. And this is why stuff like unhappiness, this is why people feel like they clocked out. It's like, I don't feel my life is average. I'm not going to do anything with life. This is a reality, by the way. This is real. It's not a joke. It's not something it's not a construction of my own imagination. This is actually proven. And the reality is that people are not, are like pedestrian. They just like walk around. It's like, they just like, almost like an automatic way to walk around without really any intent, many people. And how do you manifest stuff? It's like, you move away from that intent. So the question is like, what I wanted to get to you today is like, can we, as humans, can we make stuff happen that we perceive them to be very unlikely or impossible to happen? Yeah, we also made a call in the past. The answer, of course, is yes. And the answer is like, it's all in your control. But sometimes you need somebody a little bit help to open your eyes. You need some help to open your eyes and to say, okay, let's find a framework. And again, today I'm going to try to go with you hand by hand. And sometimes I'm going to ask you, okay, type stuff below, close your eyes, imagine this. Like, I want you to actually do some work with me, because I know some of you are going to get it. And again, I really wish like we had more people to play with that. And when I'm just stop for a second and go back inside the group to just double check that we don't get like any messages that people cannot log in or whatever, because sometimes that's the case. This exercise is a little bit more fun when we have that, but otherwise we're just gonna obviously go ahead and keep going. This is kind of like what I wanted to start with, okay? Number one, there is your reality, okay? The reality is that there is four things, like I said: relationship, potential, relationship, potential, health, and the last one is purpose, okay? So we just said it before. Relationship, in fact, I'm sorry, there is five. There is career, relationship, health, and purpose, okay? And family, I guess, and relationship, health, purpose, career, and family, okay? We all are having more or less into these areas. Some of you, that there is always a lacking of this and whatnot, right? So when we say, and of course, some of you come here and say, oh, I just wish we just talk about the health. It would be cool, but like reality is that a lot of you are doing the maximum they can in the health. They're doubling down in the health. And of course, you need to kind of like get a good average of everything else for like you need to focus on also on the rest. Your reality, there is always a compass like you know, a direction that you go based on all these things, based on your past, based on your story, based on if you were like in the past you had a trauma experience or something happened to you very young, or something significant, even in adult, you know, I'm thinking about somebody passing away or something. Like, you create a reality. There is always two ways you can go. It's either a victor or a victim. Usually there is a story that you're building, right? The story that you're going to be a victim or a victor, right? And there are always like two mentality. One is like abundance and the other one is scarcity. And it's directly correlated. I'm thinking of the example I'm going to make about this. And it's like, it's always about how you feel and how you perceive yourself. There is not a lot of things you can do with people telling you to do stuff, but you're going to do always things with whom are you identify with. The identity you're building within yourself, who do you believe yourself to be? That's going to move you as a person, right? And I find it kind of fascinating because it's like, if you believe to be a poor person, that's a mentality. That's nothing to do with being broke. Meaning, like, one of the thing, first time I started out years ago, you know, one of the first business mentor in the field. Now it's not only, it's doing something else now. It's like doing more business related, but he was in fitness. I think it's called Berlusconian. One thing he said, I can be broke 1,000 times, but I'm never going to be poor. You know, AKA, it means like, you can not have money now, but you're going to find a way to make more money in the future. And that's a mentality thing. And I do agree 100%. Even when I was broke or not, you know, not having the money or anything, or struggling, you know, I was the person that, for example, let's say you hang out with friends, or you know, you always want to, you know, pick up the tab, you know, offer the drink for everybody, for example, right? And then you get this person that technically they mean that, say they make 200,000 a year. They say to you, for example, they always like, oh, this is expensive. This is this. You're like, stop for a second, and I want you to actually feel something. It's like, which one are you? Because I know that rubs some people on the wrong way, and some other people is like, yeah, that's me too. It's like, I'm the person that is like, oh, if I have no money, still I try to, because one is giving money too much value, the other one is giving money almost like no value. Of course, there is a good medium in between, yeah. But I want you to feel a second, because I know whenever you hear stuff like that, like, you know, you have emotion inside. It's like you have a warmth inside of you, or you have, like, you know, some of you, like, even when you hear something good song, you get goosebumps. And this is exactly what changes the reality of people, right? And it's like, same thing when I talk about before, the past, right? Like, you get, let's say you get traumatized. Some of people unfortunately express things such as abuse from their family or from somebody, or something, you know, something happened to them in the works, you know, field, maybe abuse, or like, again, you got something like passing away very early, right? And like I share multiple times, my dad passed away when I was very early. I could take that story and kind of always be the victim and say, oh, you know, I let this thing drag me down. I didn't have a father figure, like, but then, like, you can also take this story and make something different with it. Yeah. So you choose to be the victor mentality versus kind of like the victim. This is an example you could do also with family, friends, with everything, and career, right? I'm always a person that can never get a good interview or a good job, or I'm always a person that can change your life. Guess what? I was that person too. How much it sucks when you do, let's say, 2 master degrees, and then like you get CV out, like 50 of them, and you get, let's say, 1 interview and the job completely sucks, or nobody even watches you, and then they say, oh, you need more experience. And I could have been a victim, and then, like, instead I said, I just want to do my own thing again. And basically, this is kind of like what I'm telling you. You make that shift in your own mind. You can control that. I want this to be crystal clear. I keep saying, like I said in another call in the past, to some people in here watching, And funnily enough, I always see the same thing. It's like, you know, they say they do some other stuff, like, I don't know, they have music or they do paintings or whatever. And it's like, you can actually do something good with that music. You can sell the music, but you have to believe that it's worth somebody buying it, right? And you start from shifting your own mindset. And of course, then you put your energy into something, and you actually figure out the skills that you need to actually do that, to actually sell it. You go on YouTube, you figure that out, or you hire somebody to help you figure it out. And this is exactly what I wanted to talk about next, right? But we talk about to just Tony Robbins talked about it like not so long ago, right? And this is basically the whenever you have to acquire some skills, right? The potential is there, but of course you need to put the time in. And then I get some people saying, I don't have time, Jerry. I don't have time. It's like, I don't have time to binge watch something on YouTube. Understand this. If you're not where you need to be in life, in your bank account, you got nothing but time. If you're not where you need to be in your health, you ain't got nothing but time. If you're not where you need to be in your relationship, you don't have anything else in time, because anything the time that you don't make right now is gonna cost you more not to later. Like, I want this to be crystal clear. And you're gonna say, yeah, but I'm a mom. And it's like the most crazy story that I have, one of my clients in the past, Layla, you know, and she had two jobs. One, she was working high pressure job, like being a manager of companies and stuff like that. You know, one in Zurich, and then she's from south like me. It's like 3 hours drive going from south to, like, with 3 kids, and the kids were in school. She was going to the gym. She was kind of like doing like what Cecilia's doing, like tracking food, every single macro, like I mean, that's commitment. Seriously, there's nothing to do with time. Like, you make time if you want. Yeah, and now we're gonna talk about in a second, how do you make the time? But first you have to want it. If you tell yourself a story you don't have time, then you got no hope. Like, there is nothing to do. How do you make more time? You clock stuff out that doesn't matter in there. Like, you take stuff out, irrelevant things such as Netflix, such as scrolling social media. One time I said, make an audit of your time. You know, put together a piece of paper, put all your goals in there, put all the people on the other piece of paper, you Skype, you talk, you message, you look into social media, put all these things on the other side of the paper. You do an audit at the end of the week. How many of these people has anything to do with your goal on this side? You'll be flabbergasted how much time you waste on stuff that doesn't matter. So that's your time goes there. So this is how you make more time. If you want just a small little example. Then you need to rewrite like your own story, right? We just said it before, right? You're in control of your emotion, right? But you want to be thinking about your outcome, right? Control your thoughts, and you need to be able to catch your thoughts. Like, we always like around in this autopilot kind of thing. And one thing that we do inside a program, we work a little bit with meditation, and we meditate, let's say 5 minutes a day on the morning, how to catch your thoughts. That give you more awareness about when you're about to make a bad choices on the food, right? And again, like, how do you start then putting everything together, a plan of action, right? Is by rating these 5 things, right? So what I'd like you to do now, and I know it's late as well, but I want you to just write in the chat from 1 to 5, 5 being the most higher, you know, like I think I'm super good from that. And then 1 is being, or 0 is being like non good at all, or 1 is being very little good. From 1 to 5, I'd like you to rate how you are in your career, where you are and how you are in your career, where you are in your friendship and family, 1 to 5, how you're doing with your potential, meaning like, do you have the purpose in life? Your 5 is like, my purpose is totally clear. 1, I have no purpose, or I'm not where I am. Then the other one is health. How you doing with your health? And I need to be very honest, like, no judgment here, from 1 to 5. And again, not how many results you get, but how much effort are you putting in? Even if, let's say, you got no results so far, or very little, and you put in the efforts, it's like a 5, right? I want to see the numbers in the chat, 1 to 5. I'm really curious about how you do in here. It's like type on the chat, for example, you can do family, type family, and then, you type 3 or stuff like that. Yeah. How do you, the relationship between, your family? A relationship, I put on the side, the one, for example, with your mate, or if you're single, but also you're very active and you say you want to meet people, then it's like a 5, right? Just put some number in there. I'm really curious. Like, if you want any power of this, really put some numbers. Like, I'm not gonna get mad if you don't do it, but just get on the chat and just rate, for example, like all of them, family, relationship, career, health, purpose. Okay, I'm very interested about the purpose of some of you. Very good, Dori. Very good, excellent. I'm not gonna reveal, but they're very good numbers there. And again, it's a measure of perception, but it's important because I need you to do this exercise at least in your own pieces of paper, because you'll see where we're going with this. It's important. Again, 100%. If you do not get, let's say, where you need to be, is because sometimes you don't have clarity. And clarity means like you have no idea where to start. And what I want from you, and if you're watching the replay, by the way, do the exercise on the comment box. We're going to put this on Facebook. Do the same thing, like some of this lady did here. Career 4, family, for example, whatever. Number, relationship from 1 to 5. Purpose from 1 to 5. What is your number? Health from 1 to 5. Because it's like, you need to be able to do something. And when you take action, rather than just comment, like I said before, when you're watching this as a replay or you rely on watching, then you basically not becoming more smart. But when you actually do something with what you're watching, then you're taking action, you're building a skill. Yeah, very good as well, Marcela. Okay, fantastic. Now, whether or not you have written here or you have in your piece of paper, all good. So what you're going to be doing next, I'm going to ask you, in fact, let me ask you, you can actually write or unmute, or like, what would you do next with these 4 things here? Because again, we just talked about building a plan of action. We're just talking about your perception about whether you're good or not in this thing. What would you do next? Because this is quite interesting. The plan is kind of logical, right? We just said we need to control our mindset. Good. We need to kind of see our thought. We just rated our core, core 5 or core 4, right? From 1 to 5, right? So what would we be doing next to improve? We just said in the beginning, if we are today in our career, for example, I'm very curious as a business owner, the friends, I consider myself to be 4 or 5 in friends. With most business owners are like usually 1 or 2, because like, in fact, if you 100% dial in the business, especially online, you don't get to meet a lot of people. So if I were like that, and the gap is like, I want to have more friends, but I feel like I'm a 1, you need to close the gap, right? So this is kind of intuitive at the end. It's like, here we have some, and I'm not going to make any names, some say, for example, we are a relationship number 1, right? So how would you do, like, if you have all this core 5, right? And now we always work on things like in the businesses, like we want to work on things like in quarters, right? We have 3 months up until the end of the year, or more or less. How do we improve this 4 or 5? Well, number 1, logic would say you want to be focusing on the one that you're less good, because obviously, why would we want to, if career is 4 or 5, and then the relationship and family is 1, why should we even focus on that, right? Good health is always good, important to put in, right? So provided that you are like, let's say you are always like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, then obviously you choose the one that is more important, whatever, right? But the reality is like, you want to be focusing on the one that you are less good at the moment, because time is king, right? We need to kind of like focus the more energy and intention, right? So we have, for instance, when we say health is 2 or 3 or 1, and then we have family, we're going to double down on a strategy to improve the health or the family or the relationship. How do we do that? Super simple in the way to put together. We put together a plan. The plan involves a strategy or a tactic. And the tactic is, let's say I'm focusing on relationship, and meaning like relationship, mean like, let's say you are in a relationship, you just want to make the relationship better. You're gonna focus on probably communicating better. You're gonna focus possibly into if you care enough to go into those meetings for the people, let's say marriage meeting or whatever, right? And or you're gonna focus on, if you're single, to have more dates, right? You're gonna go into more dates, whatever the case is. Like you want to be focusing on that part, right? If you have a career thing, meaning like you have to find your career and find a job, chances are you're going to need to focus more on maybe put more CV out or doing more outreach on email or on LinkedIn or whatever the case is, right? Very good job, by the way. We only have like few people here, but everybody's taking action. Love it. You watching a replay, you should definitely do the same. So the strategy is like you taking into strategy. And again, comment down when you also watch it. You can also, if you're not here, like, what's going on, Claudia? I'm getting really triggered from you. I don't know what's going on. Like you keep moving. Did you want to say something? You're good? Okay, perfect. Okay. So you want to be putting like right down below, or even here if you want, like, in fact, here we're gonna do Q&A at the end. So if you want to, we can do Q&A. But if you're watching this as a replay, let me know what is the strategy you should work on. Let's say you're working on your career, we can actually answer that. Like I'll be more than happy to go live into talking about career, potential, purpose, or whatever the case is. But definitely you want to double down into what the case is, like whatever is work for you, right? Then you put together a strategy. Now that we have a strategy, for example, we have let's say we're going to focus now on the career or whatever the case is. We going to, let's say we use the health to make it easier, right? The health is like, I want to be losing 10 kilos or 5 kilos in the next 3 months. It should be realistic, smart goal, as always, like in marketing. Realistic, measurable, easy to implement, and whatever the case is, whatever the acronym stands for. Then how do you make time is like we have an extra example here. We keep referring to her, for example, like Dorian and Cecilia. That's how they make time. You make time for the walk. You make time for to cook. Like one of the things that I was actually, last time we talked on that call we made with Cecilia before she went to bodybuilding, I said, how can you make this thing so consistent for you? Because even walking is even hard for me at times, even for me. Well, one thing that you said, Cecilia, was you plan. You make it like, it's almost like you make it like a job. And I always say this for years now to people. It's like, for me, if I don't work out, I feel upset because I like it. But for some people, I do realize that it's kind of like, or something that you're almost like getting irritated on doing. Well, you insert it as a job, much like people insert talking to the partner as a job. When successful businessmen, the one that make like Tony Robbins, they have schedule anything, talking to the wife, talking to this, everything is scheduled. It's like a plan, because this is how you control your time. You have more control, and this is how you make it. So when you make a audit about, like, go in the website, one thing that I said about doing that I'm gonna do moving on, but also to you, all of you that are here, by the way, if you want me to restructure that for you as well, just message me. I'll give you the login to the same website, but I kind of like chunk the website down into foundation first, so that you can go into these things about the mindset and see there is a module about how to plan. Funny, it's so simple and nobody actually want to do it, but it's actually important. It's probably one of the most important. It's like, and no, it cannot possibly work because it's so simple, like planning stuff down. Well, but except it's the one thing that actually works. Because like, if you don't do that, then you find yourself chaos. It's like you find really out of control, really overwhelmed, really like you have no structure, right? So it's important. So you plan. Simple as that. Once you plan, then you rehearse. Like I said before, you want to feel almost like an actor, an actress into life. It's like, if you don't believe something can be done for you, if it's unnatural for you to talk to people, I made this example last time, whether it's for love, for jobs. If you have a person that you don't walk into the building and say, hey, I'm here for a job, and you find this to be very unnatural, there is only two ways to do it. It's like, number one, it's one after, it's not like one or the other, it's like one and the other. It's like, number one, you do more of that. So you go inside and you do it. And you the first time it feels unnatural. Number two, you rehearse inside your mind what you're going to say. And then you're going to feel almost as if like it's impossible, irrational for you to not get the job. So you just walk inside and it's like, I know I'm gonna walk inside this one, you know, or you walk inside the stage if you do that, or you walk inside if you sing, or if you Claudia's dancing here, you walk inside a dance, almost like it's almost impossible for you to fail, like you rehearse in your own mind. Athletes use this all the time. And one time I show an example, visualization. Michael Jordan visualized, you know, throw your free throws on basketball 1,000 times before even to shoot. That's why it's so precise. Jim Carrey visualized his first $10 million 5 years before. Like it's a power of like rehearsing in your mind, like you're an actress, right? You're like, things are gonna just happen for me. Is it gonna be easy? No, but it's like I need practice. And when you rehearse inside your mind, you get in an identity in tune with yourself. Remember when I said, you know, like you definitely not gonna do something somebody else telling you to do, but you're definitely gonna do something that you're in tune with. Like whoever you perceive to be, like it's very hard to lie to that person. If you perceive to be a loser, it's very hard to think like you're a winner. If you perceive to be ugly, it's very hard to make you believe. Like I see this in couples all the time. The guys say, "Oh, you look beautiful." It's like, "Oh, no, I feel ugly." It's like sometimes they just say it like just so you can get more compliment. But sometimes they actually, especially women, feel. I learn how to actually see, which is crazy to me because some of them are like the more attractive they are, usually that's more how they feel very insecure, and that of course comes back to be self-confidence and you know self-esteem from the past we talked about 1,000 times. But if you believe you are not beautiful or not attractive or not worth, then chances are like that's going to be the reality. You need to change the frame. You can change the frame with it. Like the crazy part is that this is the most crazy part you're going to hear. You can do that not in 1 minute or maybe like in more like 10 seconds. You can, but it needs to start from you. Nobody can, if somebody tries to convince you now for an hour or two, 1 month or a year, chances are not going to happen, but you can do it right now. Right now, if you do believe that that's the case, going back to the thing we just saw in the beginning. And therefore, of course, that takes us to almost the end of this. And it's like, take action of the opportunity that presents to you. It's like, I see this all the time. A lot of things. If that ever happened to you, like you go and it's like, I don't know if this is just something maybe on guys or girls as well, but I think every human does it. But it's like, you're very in tune with yourself and you're like, oh, I really feel I should have done better to this. Like you say, oh, I could have danced better. I could have sing better, could have acted better. If you do an acting class, I could have just went to the gym better. I could have acted better with significant other, with family, whatever, right? So and you say, fuck, I really fucked up a little bit. I should have just done better. Then another opportunity to present yourself, only for you to do the same thing again. And it's like, almost like, shit, I can never do better. I feel like I'm not really progressing here. And of course, that comes back with not doing the work, like not rehearsing, not practicing, not practicing being successful, technically. Every opportunity presents to you. For me, I live in a way like I said at one time, if there is something you believe on, and one day you go up in the paradise or whatever, and somebody's there rating you from 1 to 10 how good you're doing, I'll do the chart. I want to be 11 or 12 or whatever. Like I want this to be my legacy. Therefore, when I see potentially, and again, like the crazy part is that you have to take this home. There is no perfectionism, because like if I was to say, I need to do today better, I try to do every day better, but let's say today is bad, you cannot just say tomorrow I'm just gonna quit. Oh, I messed up, go back to square one. No, it's like, it's up and down. It's like, okay, tomorrow you try to do better. But every single time you try to outdo yourself, like to meet people, going back to what we just said before, relationship, I don't meet people, I'm single, whatever. Let's say, meet more people, try to talk to more people. Whenever it feels uncomfortable stopping people in the street, you do it anyway. That's an example. Career, let's say you are an entrepreneur, right? Like you get your own stuff going. Like, do more calls, do more outreach, whatever. That just do more. Just don't get this idea that you're not successful. Job that you're not happy. Fire, like if you're not happy, and some of this is kind of crazy. People stay in job that they hate. Leave the job. I know it's uncomfortable, but something uncomfortable is what changes your life. And don't take it like, if you cannot pay rent, 5 kids, obviously don't leave the job, but get the point what I'm saying. It's like, you are the master to your own life. Like, this is crystal clear to me. It's like, I really don't see how people don't see that. So the example that we can go, and I try to paint some scenarios here so that you can see potentially how this takes you, is like, let's say somebody's like, you have many, you know, maybe you visualize yourself to be, I don't know, in Sweden, Norway, whatever, like, you know, you never said, oh, I'm never going to move to US or to Australia, whatever. You go there for vacation, you find something that, like a job that you like, because finally you reach out there and it's like, oh, by the way, you got some skills from Sweden, Norway that we don't have here. Would you like this job? The conservative person would say, no, I'm not going to do it. That the risky person, and like I said, victor mentality versus victim, the risky person is going to take the job. That means you're going to lose a bunch of friends, but you're going to make new friends. You're going to make, maybe you're going to meet that significant other, right? And in 5 years from now, you have a totally different life. This is one example. The other example, let's say what I wrote down, because I know that start traveling, right? Because you're tired of your relationship, bad toxic relationship. And you say, fuck, one person say victim mentality. I'm never going to trust guys again, never, because, you know, whatever, right? I'm never going to throw, or in health, I'm never going to trust a program. They all ripping me off. Well, what solution do you have? Are you going to be alone for the rest of your life? Are you going to be out of shape for the rest of your life? Because that's kind of the reality when you say that mentality. When you say, no matter whoever take advantage of me, I'm going to change my reality. I'm going to give another chance to somebody, to work, to whatever, to another work, to another boss, to another. And this is really hard when, let's say, you got crazy stories, right? You see this all the time. Abuse on the job, especially women, like they get abused. You tend to be scared to go to another job. And this is crazy, because it's like, if you get to that victim kind of mentality, which I know is hard, by the way. By the way, all these things not supposed to be easy. Don't take my personality in a way like I'm making almost like a joke, like it's easy. I'm not saying this at all. I'm just saying, like, you have the power, and it's like very hard when you have a trauma or abuse or something to be able to turn the other cheek, as the religion says. But when you do that, you find yourself giving opportunities to other people. And funnily enough, when you fight for your opportunity, the opportunity fight for you. You find yourself being super, like, rewarded. Yeah, you're gonna find something that is not even easy to think that is gonna happen. This is just my view. And to close it off, and this is kind of like one of my favorite movie, and one of the movie that gets me emotional every time. This is what, in my opinion, the view of manifesting. This is what the view is. And of course, let me know if you saw it before. Forrest Gump. This is one of my favorite movie. And this is kind of like what I think manifesting is in my own way.
Were you scared in Vietnam?
Yes. Why? I don't know. Sometimes it would stop raining long enough for the stars to come out. And then it was nice. It was like just before the sun goes to bed down on the bayou. Those over million sparkles on the water. Like that mountain lake that was so clear, Jenny. It looked like there were two skies, one on top of the other. Then there's when the sun comes up, I couldn't tell where heaven stopped and the earth began. So beautiful.
I wish I could have been there with you.
You were. And you placed here under a tree.
my opinion, the best way to see manifestation. And why does it have so many people crack up this movie? Because like you feel what they want you to feel. Like you feel like a life of you just doing the work and then just stuff happening almost randomly to you. It's like so many people are in tune with this movie. So many times I watch it, like it's hard for me not to like cry. It's like all the time. It's like it's so in tune, like for whatever you feel to people, and like whatever you feel like something is happening to you when you feel like, oh, it's be so cool, like for things just happening to you, right? In my opinion, like this is the one of the best, of course, fictionary movie that you can think like manifestation happens. Somebody that just go through life and do the work. And like, in my opinion, is a mixture of you, like stuff that has to happen to you, but also in the same way, stuff that you make happen to you, right? And therefore, like, this is just, of course, my opinion, but I think like the framework I gave you today, it can be super helpful if you just get clarity. Get clarity on what you want. Close your eye for a second and it's like, when I get there, like when I get to a better career, better friendship, the perfect 5-on-5 of the thing we just said, how is my life gonna be? Like, how is it gonna change? Funny enough, I think I asked most of you this question when we're on the phone. One of the things I said, if we're able to help you out and like get you to 60 kilo less, 30 kilo less, 10 kilo less, to get less belly fat, more energy, more better relationship, how would your life change? And the people that actually take action, now you're here. And most of you are getting the results you're actually asking for. I find this to be fascinating because in a way you're manifesting your own future. Like you just need to do this more. Like everything in life, you take what is successful, you do more of it. You look who is successful. If you're one of somebody watching a replay and you're not in the program and you don't want to be in the that's more power to you, but just do it. Just go out and do it. Just do it. So like, I cannot, like, the thing we have less of and we need more of is time. And the thing is that not time like in the day, time in general. Like we live, the person that live 80 years old, I think is something like, what was it? Like, I don't know. Sometimes, let me just Google it one more time. Every time I read it, I feel weird about it. It's like, 80 years in 2 days. 29,200 days. When you see that, it's like, fuck, what am I doing with my days? Because every time it's like a clock. And that's living 80 years old. Some people live less. Some people live less than that. Unfortunately, we're all here, like, hopefully, like, obviously we're most than 40, so we did that. I have many friends, good one like a brother to me, he lived when he was 35 and he had cancer. That like some people are not that lucky, right? So we do need to value the time. And in my opinion, any days goes by with now the life that you're not happy in, you're not doing the best with your opportunity that you have, that I said before. I don't want to have any regrets moving on to say, I don't want to be in 80% of the people in the world. I want to be the 13%. I still like to see the 13% because, as Dan Peña said, like most people live check by check. So the 13%, I think, is even more, maybe 90% unhappy. But you got hope. You got hope. You can do work. Like you can still make it. I like to open up for question. I like to open, like, this is a mastermind. Yeah. If you need specific question about all of these areas, it's time to talk. It's actually important. It's better to do it now. And of course, there is a level of vulnerability you want to go into it. Maybe some of you don't, and I understand. If you want, you can actually text me later, but it would be nice if you do the effort. Or if you want to have Q&A for anything in your journey, like we can open up your app and everything, and we can ask. I'm here to fix problem in general. Ladies, hope this was good. Hope this was entertaining. Let me know if you have any question. Let me know if you want to share anything. It's 9:40. Let me know. I've got time today, so open up your mic or just go shoot. we only like, there's only like 5 people, 6, yeah, total, so 7 people. So again, hopefully there's a bunch of replay watching here because this was actually useful. Okay, anybody? There's a Q&A, not only for this, but in general as well. Let me know if you have anything to ask. Come on, it cannot be so good that you don't have question. Nobody? Really? Was it so good? Come on, don't be... My problem. You want to mute, Terry? Or you're in a place that you cannot talk? I was seeing a problem saying goals. You want to mute? My cats. I love to see your cats, actually. I love cats. My cat is, I hope he's not sick, actually. Like it's the one, my cat is like a child to me. So it's really important that it's going to be okay. So I hope it's like, it's okay. Anyway, your problem is that you're setting the mindset to set goals. So tell me exactly what the issue is. Like the problem is setting goals. How so? You don't know what goal to set. You don't know, for example, like how, like what is exactly that you struggle with? Because like you need clarity. I have all your rating here, purpose and relationship and everything. So you got some low one, right? So what is it that like you want more advice with? Because this is one of the thing, in fact, is like when people say, I'm really bad in doing this and I want to get better in setting goals, but then we don't really set a goal. We just say, okay, next time I'm going to get better. Like emotional eating for me was like, next time I'm just going to not emotionally eat, only to emotionally eat more. It's like, but when I say next time I'm getting this urge to eat food, I'm going to actually stop. I'm going to count until 10. I'm going to maybe write something down. And before that, I'm not going to keep the food inside a pantry or the house. And if I really need that, I'm going to drive myself to the local store, which in the Switzerland after 9 o'clock, they close anyway. And therefore, I have that's a strategical plan with a bunch of tactics, with the possibility for you to say, if whenever you do this tactic, which is a plan and then a strategy and a tactic, when thing happens and then you're going to do that, tell me if you're with me, Terry. It's like, you can actually see which one you mess up. It's like, okay, I didn't count till 10. Oh, somebody actually brought over some sweet for me from the job. So if your environment could be your significant other, it could be like you bought stuff and you left it in the house. And then, of course, if you say, oh, yes, I'm going to drive myself just to buy the thing because now I'm hungry. So you can actually see what is it that messes you up to that particular thing. See, that's kind of like a good plan. When you say, I'm just going to get better on doing something, that's not really helpful. So, for example, like one thing that you could potentially work on, that you put health that doesn't need some work. The plan should be like now, we talked about for the next 10 days, we have a list to complete, right? Some workouts to do, right? So stick to that plan. If you have trouble to make that plan better, you want to look at all your time that you work. Aside from the time that you work in, you have free time for yourself. You're going to include 1 hour a week, 1 hour, for example, a day of something like, I don't know, maybe planning some food, right? You're going to include the other time, another hour, maybe 15 minutes 3 times per week or 20 minutes for the workout. You're gonna see where you're gonna put this on your plan. Because then, like when the plan doesn't come to fruition or the reality, you know what you did wrong, technically. You know not what you did, that's a bad wording. We also want to word stuff better, yeah? But you know what you can improve. So what was something that you can make better? If you just say, I'm gonna do things better, you can try, but it ain't gonna work for me. Like I can tell you, like if I do it this way, it's hard. Okay, so Marcela, do you want me to read that and give you, like you want to talk about, like you want this to be, like you want to talk about this, or like you cannot talk? Like a message. Hello, you're there? What do you think about this? Can't talk. Oh, that's you, Dori, not Marcela. Sorry. You care to, can you talk, or you also, yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, well, I'm not really feeling well at the moment, but
Very tired.
yeah, very tired, but also not very fit. Just I have a bit of a cold and didn't sleep very well. But yeah, I wrote that sometimes I feel like if you're looking for higher scores in one area, it will cost you at another area. Like
Oh,
if
I know
I
what you
were
mean.
going to invest more in my friendship, I would have less time to spend with my partner. And then, so sometimes I just accept that some areas are lower because
Yes,
I prioritize others.
that's a very good point, actually. Like I didn't talk like it wasn't like out of purpose, but this is kind of like very good important point. In my opinion, I go with the one that is more important for me, because by nature you wanna have to sacrifice some stuff when you wanna be somewhere like in life. And for example, I'm thinking now career-wise. Of course, if you have a super busy career, like we have some people here that I'm not gonna necessarily mention in the program, but like they travel 300 days out of the year, probably I wanna say very career-oriented, very purpose-oriented and whatever. Like probably she don't get to see her friend very much. She trade off time with a boyfriend, of course. But if it's worth, I think that you have to, sometimes you see it like time frames, like it's like quarters, like or years, right? Or months. It's like sometimes you need, like in health, I'm also sure like when now Cecilia did a body building things, like you don't get, like that's very uncomfortable, like to actually get ready for that. So you kind of want to take time, in my opinion, to do stuff. Like if you, some friend and partner is like, maybe it's supposed to be one category, because it's like friend and partner by nature is always going to be there, like in this you, but I'm thinking career and boyfriend, for instance, or career and husband. It's like when you have somebody, in my opinion, that really appreciates you and like still on the same tune on you, it's like they understand that it's like sometimes gonna give up some of the time with them only for you to get better, right? And this is very important. I think that selfishly, I think we must, in a way, to prioritize what's more important, and by nature, what is going to take the back seat. Yeah. Because I also see this in the past much in the program. It's like many people, the one people that cannot many times achieve what they have because they have, let's say, kids, and they have husband or whatever. They always put themselves last, and this is a big problem in health, because like you need to put yourself first, because this is what people don't see. If you're not healthy, and God forbid you don't get some sort of a condition, and I see this all the time, I have this conversation at least once a week. People reach out to me, it's like, hey, by the way, like I would like to work out with, like, hey, but whatever, I can't afford it, right? So now we're trying to find ways for people to actually afford stuff to come inside. But I say, okay, but this is the same conversation we had a year ago. What have you done between now and a year to actually make, that you need to lose 30 kilos? Why couldn't you not, I don't know, save $100 a month for potentially afford, if not my coaching, something else, right? Why? It's like, yeah, but because, my kids, and it's like, what good is gonna do if you get diabetes for your kid? What does a kid that doesn't have a healthy mother have? What are they happy with? It's like, you need to prioritize yourself. It's like, obviously, if you cannot figure it out, and this is just in general, you obviously need help. It doesn't have to be me or Dory helping you, but in general, you need help, because otherwise you would have figured it out. So the next is like, okay, we say, okay, just save yourself some time, money, energy, whatever. Get ready to actually get ready, right? And it's like, there are people that you need to prioritize yourself. You don't get another you. You can have another car, you have another house. Obviously, you also shouldn't have, like, you shouldn't take kids like they don't matter, but it's like, you definitely, anything materialistic, you can have more of. You don't have more time, for sure. You don't have better you, for sure. So like this one is really important. What I can say for sure for the topic of today is that if you want to get somewhere in these topics, that 5 core, you definitely need to do this kind of strategy. You definitely need. It's like whatever is weaker, you need to double down, and you need to do it. Funnily enough, whatever is weak for you is also going to be uncomfortable. It's also going to be something that maybe you suck at, or you feel like you're not good at, and you don't want to not by nature do, because we don't want to do whatever we're bad on. We always want to do whatever we're good on. But it's there, the magic is in there. Therefore, like, you need to double down. This I can say for sure. How are you going to trade everything off for, like, for your personality, your attitude, your potential, whatever? You definitely, that's up to you to figure out. But there is no other way that you're going to manifest anything except for winning the lottery, from you not doing the work. If you want more in your bank account, you have to work for it. Meaning, like, you have to come up with a smart strategy, it's not so very misunderstood, not be the hard worker, not do something wrong and spend a bunch of time on it and only to be compensated not what you're worth. But you need to definitely come up with strategies. If you want to improve your career, find a better job, better boss, better whatever. If that's not where you live, move. If you have a bad home situation, move out. If you have a bad relationship situation, leave the relationship. I'm gonna get a bunch of calls from husbands here. I don't know, but like, I can tell you what I feel. Like there is only one of you. There is only one life, one of you, and like, you only can get better, not worse. If you need, and this to conclude, this is very important. The potential, like, find your purpose. I cannot stress this enough. Probably the most important. But of course, we have to conclude with the health. We're here for that. This is what I'm coaching you on. The health is simple. Probably the most simple of everything is the health. The most simple. Probably the easier. Now, I'm not saying losing weight easy. Like, is a ball busting part is really bad. It's really hard. But probably the most easy out of all these components, because to find a purpose is the hardest one. The other one, family one, relationship, career, we as human make those things harder than they are. 100%. I can testify to that. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't choose to do something myself. If I just kept putting out resumes, and how much more experience do you need? How much more A grade do you need for other people to actually consider? Why do they don't consider? Because they're not meant to consider you. Like, you're better than them considering you. So you make this thing harder. You live in a relationship. How many more times you're gonna have to go into, okay, the intimacy is not like before. Oh, how many more times we have to fight to understand that this is it? How many more times you have to hear? How many more times do you have to tell to yourself, oh, this is really bad. One time I need to get out of this. How many more years you have to throw away, or days, or months, right? Those are the one we make more complicated, because we are, like before, like Forrest Gump, we are good on the inside. You're a person that you're like, oh, but if I do that, somebody's gonna suffer. Oh, that's not me. Then I don't identify with myself. I said in one of the calls, you need to cut out the wording from yourself. It's like, stop saying I'm sorry. Stop saying, oh, I wish I'd done this. I didn't do. It's like it's like those are the little things that make your own personality to be different. Yeah, this is how you do it. But health is the more easy. Health is the less friction of everything. Purpose is the hardest. Still today, I don't even know if I nail my purpose. I'm not on the direction I like, but I don't know if that's my purpose. I have no idea. Sometimes I feel like this. Sometimes I feel like, oh shit, I wish it was better. But the relationship, I'm definitely working on it, like, to improve on all the time. Family, career is good for me. But it's like, those are the one that you change. Okay, I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna clock out again. Sometimes often accept success comes. I beg you guys to talk for real. Like, this is so hard for me to sometimes to do that. But anyway, keep stressful alive. Okay, this is my own opinion. Yeah, like I said, yeah, this is an example. Again, you're Terry, you're letting your narration of whatever happened to you in the past create a story for the future. Yeah, and again, if you want us to talk about this as one on the call, even privately, we can also do that with Dori. If you're a case that you really need something super advanced, like something really hard, I also have a guy, a good friend of mine, a mentor that was here, in a few calls, that can help you with that. But I'm telling you, whatever story you come up with from the past, if you allow this in the past to go into your future, into your present to write a better future, doesn't work. I understand like what that means to you, like something bad happened to you in the past, and then of course that creates, you know, stuff happening today, bad narration inside. But you need to change the frame. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is too hard to do in a live call like this. It's more so like you need work for this. But what I can tell you is that you are the one that you have to change that. Otherwise, it's tough. Otherwise, it's like nobody else can change your reality, so to speak. Ladies, if you're not gonna share anything more, I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for asking all the whoever asked question or share. Thank you for that. You can also go ahead and go type this on the replay. Talk to me about it. Anything, you can just go live in the group for everything. And of course, coaches are always here to help you out. Coach Jerry here. I wish you an amazing night, and I wish you well. Talk to you on the next one. And of course, if you need us, we're always here. Take care and have an amazing night. Take care. Bye-bye.